Rocking and rolling. We have JayPitts in the building. How are you doing today, bro?
I'm doing good, man.
It's good to see you, man. I noticed that you have accumulated tons of views on a track. 6 million views. 6 million.
Yeah.
Do you understand that people can't even get 6 views right now?
Yeah, it's dry in the streets right now. Yeah.
It's hard, man. It's hard out here for artists. Talk about the process of creating that song and how it got to that point, man.
Yeah, so that's my song Windows. I actually created it over quarantine. I was driving to the grocery store on some regular type shit. And I had the windows down. It was a lot going on, like for everybody, it was the pandemic. I lost a couple people. I wasn't returning back to the job I was at. I was working at a psych ward. And that's interesting. But
yeah, of course.
Yeah, so with the windows down, the lyrics hit me as I was listening to this beat, and I'm just like, driving like I don't got any windows. And then I ended up, I wrote the whole song in like 10 minutes. And so, on the way back from the store, I'm like, I got to record this. I laid it down, put it out, and I did a TikTok about it. I decided to release it on my daughter's birthday, and I was about to do a TikTok about it. I literally almost didn't do it. I was like, should I do this? I was laying with my wife in the bed. I'm like, all right, I'm going to do this real quick. Let me do this. And so I made the video. I told her to be in it or whatever. And then from there, it took off. It started going viral. People started like sharing it, commenting, and my numbers just started going up like crazy for that song. And people still discovering me from that song every single day. So like, collectively, it's like 6 to 8 million streams, all streaming platforms. So yeah.
6 million. Yeah. I mean, from just thinking of it in 10 minutes, putting it down, not really knowing it's going to do that probably at the time, right?
Nah, I had no idea.
Were you used to any type of engagement like that or anything close to that before?
Nothing close. I think my biggest at that point probably was maybe, let me think, maybe like between 100 and 300,000 streams.
Still freaking great.
Yeah, it was still very solid, but nothing like that. That was like, jumping out the indie artist window for sure.
It's crazy, bro. These days, like I really do pay attention to all the upcoming artists in Detroit and upcoming artists around, and you really, really realize, bro, like a lot of people are just going crazy trying to get 100 views, 15, just anything. They'll release 50 to 100 music videos, and all of them will have 100 views.
Yeah,
you probably spent like $10,000 that year on all these music videos, and you got 100 views on each one of them.
It's crazy, and I think that's one of the biggest problems our city has. Like, one, we have a lot of quality shit, but we don't necessarily know how to promote. And I myself can kind of share that same vein of coming from stuff. You just got to get creative and you got to be brave. People are afraid to be lame or to not have certain views because they'll buy the fake stuff, they'll buy the fake views and stuff like that. But it's like, there's a way to do that. I've never done it, but I just think like, people they were afraid to use TikTok. And at the time, like when it wasn't cool in 2019, it was just like for like young white girls or whatever. And me and my homie Trey Little, we were like the biggest TikTokers in Detroit, but nobody gave a fuck at the time. Like I said, TikTok, they like, you're weird, but it paid off because going in that and pounding the pavement, getting in early, I was able to hit 100K fast and then have that, search engine optimization or whatever the fuck. TikTok jumped in the DMs. I know Doja Cat had to see my videos because thousands of people were tagging her when I was doing remixes. And it's still live. People still going crazy on there every day. But like, you don't got to spend money no more. You just got to pound the pavement with content and just keep it pushing. And it's free. You don't necessarily have to spend money. You can just get creative and, and it pays you back,
Yeah, I can see that, man. It just depends on the angle that you're going for, right?
True.
So for instance, for Detroit artists, I always recommend that they use all these Detroit platforms, right? You got the Hip Hop Lab, Detroit Rap News, Detroit Rap Daily. You got V-Live, he'll repost your music. If you don't want to do features, just keep recycling posts with them if you want to tap into that specific market. Now, if you're looking for more of the global demographic or even trying to go countrywide and you're not honing in on Detroit, then yeah, marketing it is a little bit more free because, the broader audience, the bigger audience is always going to be the world versus the city that you're in.
Yeah.
So with the type of content you're putting out, it's more universal.
Facts. Right?
Versus it's Detroit rap, trap rap, and gangster rap and all that stuff, which is like you got to hone that in on whatever platform or whatever city you're in. So talk about how you came up. Well, let's rewind to the beginning. Are you from Detroit?
Yeah, I'm from Detroit.
Just
West
talk a
Side.
little about. I know. So I just had a conversation with somebody about this before. When I ask people talk about growing up in Detroit, it's not to say, hey, what's the bad things about growing up in Detroit?
Right.
It's legitimately like, how did that craft who you became? So just talk about growing up a little bit in Detroit.
Yeah. So my dad, I'm first generation here on my dad's side. My dad's from Belize, like the furthest West Caribbean country. He came up here in the 70s because my grandmother, she worked for Chrysler. She lived on the east side by the Fago factory and Better Made and all that. My dad used to DJ in the city, and so when we moved to the west side, we had parties in the basement. It would be like Caribbean parties, but we had like the bar down there. Me and my sister would be roller skating and stuff down in the basement and stuff. Cool little crib. But like coming up in the city, I lived in on the west side in Rosedale Park, right down the street from Outer Drive, across from Finkel. And then my school was right down the street. I used to walk to it. And so it was just real like Detroit. I just realized going to different cities, how much music is always played here. So I grew up listening to a lot of jazz, smooth jazz, V98.7. If you know, you know. Listen to a lot of gospel, hip hop. Some Erykah Badu, some India Arie, Lauryn Hill, Stevie Wonder, a lot of the Motown greats as well. And so that shaped a lot of how I saw and took in music. I did grow up in a Christian household, so I wasn't allowed to listen to like rap, but we still did anyway. I mean, come on, like we watched Rap City with Tigger, BET 106 in Park with AJ and Free. So I was just soaking up a whole lot of game, and being from a city like Detroit with so much Motown history, it wasn't hard for me to formulate some type of musical influences.
Would you consider yourself like a hip hop connoisseur and understanding the development of the game?
Not necessarily. Like I know a little bit about a lot when it comes to that. Like when people reference certain things, I don't know like the play-by-play, but I'm vaguely familiar with a lot of stuff. I'm getting better at it because I do think I need to know more of the connections, but I am familiar with who we got? We got like Slaughterhouse, we got Dilla, we got we got we got people in Motown that I'm familiar with, like Ant Fiddler and just different people like that, but yeah, not necessarily chronologically.
Oh, for sure. No, I understand. Talk about throughout, was music always on your mind? Was entertainment always on your mind growing up?
Nah, I was just having fun with it. My sister, she actually played the keyboard on some Alicia Keys type stuff, and then like she would memorize all the R&B parts, like with songs with Ashanti and Ja Rule, or like J-Lo and LL. I memorized the rap. She'll memorize, the singing parts. So I just had a natural like draw to music and just rap, period. It was just, I guess it's just in the culture, so it was just cool. They always look the coolest, dressed the flyest. So I'm like, yeah, I want to be like that.
Yeah, that's fire. What was it like before music? What were you working on, or what was kind of like the goals and stuff?
Before music, I don't. What's funny? I was looking at some old pictures in my family's photo album the other day, and I saw myself when I was in like second grade, and I was dressed up in like all my dad's big ass clothes, and I had this cardboard top hat, and I remember this cane that he made for me. I hot glued a Chuck E. Cheese coin on the top. And I don't know where I got this from. I don't even know if I knew what it was. But for dress up day, I was like, I want to be an investor. So at 7, I'm like, yeah, I'm about to be an investor. I'm walking through school looking crazy. People like, what are you? I'm like, I'm an investor. I had a briefcase. So I don't know. I just knew I wanted some money. I just knew that. And, I did take an early liking to music, like in rhyming. When I was like in kindergarten, I was one of the only ones in my class that could rhyme. So I had the rhyme down first. And so my teacher gave me $1. And I was like, oh, this is it? Like, this is all I got to do? So I just was addicted to rhyming. I'd be on the swings outside reading books that rhymed. I like poetry books that rhymed. And then I started making my own, just creatively in my head. And then I started writing, raps all the way up into like elementary school and middle school, until my mama found in my laundry me using colorful language.
Yeah.
Then I had to go on the low ski even more. But yeah, so like I think it was always gonna be some form of like creative writing or rap or something like that. Yeah.
Cool. When did the point of it becoming professional happen for you?
I would say, okay, so like again, growing up in a Christian household, I wasn't allowed to just like say whatever I wanted to say. So I had to use the mediums I had. So I had this church group, this youth group that I used to rap with. And so I had to rap about God or whatever. So I'd be spitting these rhymes and I'd be having people going crazy up in that youth group, man. And so eventually when I turned 18, I was just like, okay. You know what I'm saying? I want to talk about my own shit, man. Like, all right. You know, and I was already writing my own shit, but I was like, I want to come out publicly and do that. So around 18, I started creating and doing some of my own stuff and like stepping out into different topics, getting into new influences. And I'd say by like 2021, when I kept doing it, no matter what, like when I was in college and when stuff was happening in life and I still made time for music, I'm like, this sounds like a career. So I told myself, either you're going to do this or you're not. And if you say you're going to do it, you better do it. So I told myself I was going to do it, and by then I just never looked back and was just like, fuck it, I don't care how I look. I don't care who looking at me or who thinks I'm lame for pursuing rap, because that was a big thing for me. I'm like, I just don't want to be, I say in one of my songs on the album, you know, I thought that I needed atypical figures to stop them from seeing a typical nigga, you know, got to get this money before they respect it. But I'm like, nah, you know what? You know, it's the hustle, and it's real Detroit, so I'm going to just go after it how I got it, so yeah.
Yeah, like not really trying to cater or trying to create a certain image, just going off of reality.
Just going off of reality. I'm way worse at creating an image than being myself, you know, which is how I should be. I mean, I wish I could fake some shit. That'd be cool. But, you know, I had to figure it out. And
think about it, bro.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's like, remember that dude, the Tinder swindler?
That sounds so familiar.
The Tinder swindler is a guy who basically went on Tinder and created a whole false reality of who he was to attract women, right?
Yeah.
All right, what about rappers, though? Isn't that the same thing? Like, rappers create a whole false reality so that people get attracted to who their image is. When
Tinder
most of
swindlers.
I'm not saying not all of it's real. A lot of that shit's real, especially when it comes to street stuff. A lot of that real. But when it comes to the money and stuff like that, it's not always real. Just put it that way. Not always.
That's a fact. And for me, I see the way up is down sometimes. I'm like, I'm going to just talk about what I'm going to talk about what I don't got. I'm going to talk about where my life actually is. And like, I find that people resonate with that more because people feel like you need the rags to riches story, but it's like, people just don't want to think about their own shit, you know? So just creatively talk about what you got going on and you'll be surprised at how many people relate to that shit. Like,
facts.
Yeah.
No, facts, 100%, man. Talk about the beginning stages of becoming an artist and working in Detroit. Prominently, were you stationed in Detroit as far as creating your music?
Yeah, primarily. If not, I learned to like create out the crib. I was just had my mic set up, my audio interface and laptop, and my horrible mixing skills at the time. It was just doing what I had to do. But yeah, I worked with like one of the first people I worked with is my homie Terrence and Woo. Shout out them. They just, you know, engineered one of my first like mixtape projects that is not available on the airwaves because that's just nah. Sometimes you just gotta let shit go. But you know, so I started off doing that, and then I ended up recording myself getting on like BeatStars, YouTube Beats, whatever the case, just anything, you know, because Detroit, you got to pull out the mud. You don't necessarily have like all the people that I knew that I could have worked with was involved in the streets and shit, and I'm like, all right, that's cool, but I ain't trying to go to the studio and then, you know, being around people that's snakes or whatever, and then you know, I've had bad situations, or I know people that have been involved in shit where I'm just like, I don't got time for this, you know, I just rather do shit myself. So it was more so me looking at all my influences. I watched a whole lot of interviews of people that I liked and figured out what they did to make it, and just kind of reverse engineered it for myself, and just kind of became a hermit and learned what I could, you know.
What was the motivating factors as far as reciprocation from audience when you're putting stuff out at that point? Like, you're putting music out in the beginning. Are people fucking with you right away, or is it kind of slow? Like, how's it working in the beginning?
Right away. I didn't have a lot of people fucking with me right away because, you know, you got to pay to play. You got to either pay for ads, or you got to, like, have a viral moment or know somebody that can get you on a certain platform. But I found my way into a lot of cool stuff. I was doing open mics. I started doing showcases as, you know, but then I found out that was a scam and a whole little rat race. I'm like, yeah, fuck the showcases, for real. That's some bullshit. Like,
I've been saying that.
Yeah, anybody that's still doing showcases, I ain't saying not to get your reps in, but stop seeing that as the way out. Like, no, you ain't getting out the hood with the showcases, bro. I even know people that won. But
No, because at the end of the day, a lot of these showcases, it's just like, what they're really doing is, and listen, there's two ways to look at it, right? Like, one, when you get put on a showcase, you're probably paying to get on that showcase.
Facts.
And so, you know, that's a down, like if you're doing that 3 times a month, 4 times a month, that's gonna hurt your pocket a lot. And then on top of that, it's hard to explain, but basically, the people, you bring as many people as you can, right?
Right.
Let me say this the best way possible, because I don't want to. There's too many people I know that run showcases. Put it this way, bro. Basically, it's a popularity contest. The people who already know you are coming to that thing.
Yeah.
If you come there, you pay $250 and you only got 5 supporters. Somebody else just came in there, paid $250, brought 100 supporters.
Right.
You're gonna lose.
You're gonna lose.
You're gonna lose. Those 100 people that get to vote at the end of the day, and those judges and shit get to see the participation award or the participation part of it. They're gonna pick the guy with 100 people that brought 100 people, not the guy who brought 5 people.
It only took one time for me to realize that was some bullshit. I was like, y'all can't rap better than me, and I'll give it up to anybody that can. But it was like, y'all know this song is ass. Like, come on, and you just got, you know, your auntie, your cousins, and whoever else you had brought out to just holler. And I'm like, okay, all right, I see how this is. I'd rather save my money and just invest it in myself. Like you said, 3-4 times a month. Come on, like that's a music video and an ad. And, you know, you just reached more people than that showcase could make you reach. Now you get a photo shoot, you get to record. Well, I ain't gonna say no names, fuck it. But you know.
Yeah, that's how it works, right? They just use like a star's name in the city, right? Let's say there was a rapper named Rockwell or something like that. Like Rockwell's the hardest rapper in the city right now. He's gonna be hosting the showcase. So now all these younger artists that look up to this guy are like, okay, I want to go to your showcase. They're gonna pay to get on the showcase, but they don't realize that they're gonna lose because whoever brought the most people is gonna get the highest participation award, and you just rapped your ass off for probably no reason. By the time that guy performs, nobody was there at the show because they booked you for 6 o'clock.
Right.
That star is coming at 9 or 10 o'clock.
Time slots.
Yeah, that guy's coming at 10 o'clock, bro. Like he's not. So nobody's there. Basically, is my whole point. I know that's it's very complicating to explain. So I know I'm fucking it up the way I'm explaining it, but it is that way. It's like it's kind of what you just said earlier. It's all bullshit. But anyway, I don't want to stray off from what you were doing. So you figured out showcases are kind of bullshit. What's the next steps after that?
Next steps it was to just focus on the internet. I was like, look, I'm gonna just do some rap remixes, and I'm gonna, you know, find out cool ways to showcase my own talent, you know, and just tell people to spread the word and just make a whole lot of content. So I was making YouTube content, doing long form stuff there, trying out different stuff like skits, you know, and this is pre-TikTok days. And then when TikTok dropped, I was like, all right, I just need to. Man, what a hell of a drug TikTok is, man. It's so crazy. I finally got off the drip, but you know, like you just chase that For You page because you know you're gonna get exposed to new people, and It's like you walk into an audition each time and you got a chance to like be in front of Simon and they could send you to Hollywood each post. And it's crazy. And so that worked for me a lot of times. Like I didn't even put the hashtag JayPitts for every video, but for the videos that I did, like it's at like 38 million views.
God damn.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking crazy. So like just doing that and just creating cool content and just being myself. Like I got really involved in just like doing reaction videos, stuff like that, and try to loop anything back to music. So just to give people like an idea of like the numbers, I probably had 2,000 followers on IG when I started. TikTok, I had 400 subscribers on YouTube, and I had maybe like 6,000 monthly listeners on Spotify.
Yeah.
And then when it hit the peak, you know, I had grew to like 8K on IG, I grew to 15K on YouTube, and then I grew at my peak on Spotify to like 125K. And that was all just from, you know, pushing the music and doing creative videos, skits, reactions, whatever I could get my hands on. I've done like 6 different pieces of content categories.
I used to be a TikTok hater, I really used to be a TikTok hater. I used to tell rappers, like, don't post on TikTok, that's whack.
Why?
I don't know why, because I was just thinking Detroit, and when I was thinking Detroit, I was like, that little TikTok logo just don't make no sense. It's kind of like what you said, the demographic of people that are on there. It's like, that doesn't match with Detroit music, but this is what, you're going to be the first person that I have not opened up TikTok all day, bro. Open up TikTok, tell me the comments, likes, views, and all that shit. Just what pops up right away on the bottom of the red.
Let's see. God, all right.
Tell the numbers.
769 comments and 8,888 likes. You got to play the lottery or
What
some
about the
shit. That's a lot of
followers?
eights. Or I'm sorry, not likes. That's followers. 8,888 followers.
All right, I'm a TikTok fan now.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Right,
How
bro.
long did you leave it?
Not more than 14 hours.
Yeah,
Yeah, because I woke up in the morning, I was like, oh, that Skilla interview's taking off. And then I didn't even know until you just said that right now.
Yeah.
TikTok is no joke, bro.
It's a good
TikTok is
feeling.
the real deal, son. Go on TikTok. I'm sorry I ever hated on TikTok. But listen, Triller's still whack. Triller's still whack. Don't go on. I don't like Triller. But
Yeah,
TikTok is fire.
Triller is trying to do some stuff right now, apparently. I don't know.
What do you think?
Shit. I haven't really used Triller at all. But TikTok, yes, because I've woken up to see that enough times. You know, that's when because I posted to TikTok like 2019 and I tried a couple of cringy ass skits into like some rap videos. I'm like, all right, let's see how these go. It's like 2 or 3 videos. And then I look back the next day, I had like 1 like and 2 followers. I'm like, oh, this is some bullshit. So I was about to delete it, forgot to delete it. So when I saw it on my phone the next day after that, I look at it and I had like 10,000 followers, like 30,000 likes. I'm like, no, this some bot shit. I have never seen anything like this. But then I looked, it was real comments, and then I saw like real buzz going over to the Instagram. I'm like, oh, all right, let's double, triple down on this mug. Like, let me treat this like Bitcoin before Bitcoin. You know what I'm saying? And it really was that for me, you know, for sure. Like, so it's the reason for so many that like TikTok's made me some money, you know, being on TikTok. So if Detroit hops on TikTok, we can really finally have the place and like to really claim our culture first without people taking it from us, you know, because it's still a very organic space that gives you your props, especially when you're on some grassroots shit. And that's all Detroit is, brick and mortar grassroots.
It's surprising that Instagram isn't like the same way though, because we built the infrastructure of, well, Instagram helped build the infrastructure of how to find Detroit music and how to understand what's going on. But like when you look at the views and the engagement, everybody who follows me, it's like 90% Detroit. But the engagement compared to TikTok is a joke.
Yeah.
On TikTok, I'll post something, it will get 100 comments, 50,000 views. On Instagram, it's like, how is it not doing the same things? I don't understand. Like,
I just feel like they're trying to copy the aesthetics of TikTok without actually understanding everything about how it works. I feel like Instagram should just use their own strengths, man. Like instead of trying to compete like that. I don't know, cause I even like I was pissed as hell the other day because I posted something on Instagram that usually would do well. And it was very slow to build up. And it's just been like, the algorithm's been fucking with a lot of people, even like top tier individuals. And I'm like, okay, I don't feel so bad no more. But I don't know what they're trying to do and what they're trying to figure out. But they're screwing some people over. And it's
think
like,
the end of Instagram is near?
I don't know. I hope not. I just hope that they switch some shit because I would like to, but if it is, it is. Because it's like, fine. Then I can have no pressure and I can just, all my people just gonna focus on TikTok and YouTube. But, we got a lot of stuff building up. You got the Reels, obviously, the Facebook Reels now. You got Snapchat Spotlight, YouTube Shorts, TikTok.
YouTube Shorts is paying now too, man. So
yeah,
you make some paper off that.
It's crazy. It's very crazy. So like, yeah, I'm just trying to figure everything out and trying to slow down so I can align myself to win in every area. It's tough though.
I know you were on an NBA playlist, man. Talk about how you got that going.
Yeah, so my song Windows was featured on the NBA's official playlist. So, when LeBron and Steph and them will be warming up, they have like an Apple playlist that, they'll play. And so that was real cool. That was from my song Windows blowing up. And so it caught a lot of buzz and it ended up getting picked up. It got picked up to be in NBA 2K21, but I didn't make the beat. And so I reached out to the producer. I'm like, yo, bro, I got 2K reached out. They want to do X, Y, and Z. Let's throw this on there. I just need your approval because I can only do artist approval, not, his side. He's like, nah. I'm like, what? I don't think you heard me. 2K21 reached out. They want to feature us in the game. He's like, okay. And I'm like, what else do you need me to say? I parlay with him, all that good stuff. I offer him the lion's share of the agreement in his favor. Dog is still like, I ain't feeling it. So I couldn't go through with it.
I ain't feeling it.
Dog, he's like, he's in Europe. He's doing well for himself. I don't know what the fuck, but he said, I want to keep leasing this beat to others. And that's when I was like, I need to make my own beats. Yeah, so it drove me to do that. And
let's pause for a second for the camera because I want to get up. That was probably a really big opportunity. I remember a long ass time ago, like 2005, when 2K5 when Ben Wallace was on the cover.
My favorite one. I thought that the graphics could not get any realer.
Yeah, right. That's what I was thinking when I seen that. But I remember there was a song called, I forget what the song was called now. But it was a no-name band. It was like nobody. But I was like, man, let me find this band out. And I listened to the song. The song was like, oh no, we ain't gonna listen to you because we gonna keep doing whatever the fuck. Anyway, it was fire.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. I was like, this shit is so fire. And I found this band, and I'm like, I'm running through their playlist over and over and over and over again. And I'm just like, damn. Like now thinking about it, it's like the same thing happens with these 2K playlists. Like you get an opportunity for somebody to find you, and they want to know what the fuck else you're doing. So that's like a blow in the stomach.
Yeah.
Was that how recently was that? That's 2K21?
Yeah, so that was during like my song Windows was taking off, so it dropped August 28, 2020, and so that was between August and like November because it was already climbing pretty fast, and so the 2K turnaround is pretty quick, so it was during that time.
Yeah, man. I know you also got to perform with some legends, man. Wiz Khalifa. What did you get to play with? Open up for Wiz Khalifa while he was here?
Nah, I actually didn't perform. I was there backstage with Logic, Wiz, DJ Drama, my homie Langston. He has a song with Logic, and so he was on some pay it forward type shit. Like, bro, come backstage with me because I told him to get on TikTok and was pressing him to get on TikTok. He finally got on TikTok, and then some people from a certain show heard about his music, and then Logic heard about it, and then wanted to collab with him. And so when he came to do his show in the D, we came back, we kicked it with Logic and his team, met Wiz. So it was real cool. Logic is a real down-to-earth person, regular. Wiz, that shit was larger than life. I was like, goddamn, like you're Wiz Khalifa type shit. In my head, though, because you can't, you know what I'm saying? Got to keep it cool. But, yeah. That was a crazy experience. It was real validating just to be back there and just to be walking regularly. I'm like, okay, yeah, so this is what it feels like. And I'm looking at the crowd of 17,000 or no, it was like 11,000. Still a sea of people. I'm like, okay, I'm not nervous. Like I could see myself doing this shit. That was right after because I had headlined my first festival this year too in Lansing, which was pretty cool. So getting more used to stepping out and just being looked at in a certain way, or what that could be, at least for myself, because ain't look like that in Detroit at all. Like Detroit, we the city that booed Dave Chappelle, so it's like if you can win here, you can win anywhere. And I knew I always knew I had some shit, but I knew I was onto it. Like when I went out to VidCon in Cali,
Dave Chappelle's situation was crazy, but I'm not gonna lie, Dave Chappelle is legitimately. Yeah, Dave Chappelle is legitimately my favorite comedian of all time, hands down.
Same.
But I'm not gonna lie, I've seen him perform 4 times in my life. Mm-hmm. The last time he came to Detroit, I was heavily disappointed because, we're all stressed out. We all got so much on our minds. We all got these, a lot. COVID was just happening.
Yeah.
Everything that's happening in Detroit, everything that's happening just in America itself. You come to a comedy show to get that relief and to laugh,
right.
And he was just on a very political, he was very politically motivated. Like he was just talking about politics and stuff, and he was just talking about how society works. And I was like, Chappelle, I love you to death, bro, but I did not come here to hear this, bro.
I feel that.
And a lot of people in the audience were all feeling the same way.
Yeah.
Somebody in the front of the audience was like, bro, we're not here to see this. And then he challenged that person, and we're like, we didn't come here to, no offense, we love you. Why don't you just start doing comedy like you used to do, where you intertwined political statements, controversial statements, but you still made it funny as hell instead of being so gospel-y about what's going on. I get it, bro. There's so much going on, but came here to laugh.
I feel that. And I wouldn't be able to, because I wasn't there live. I just watched the clips and shit. I love to see Dave Chappelle live, so I've only been able to appreciate it really. But that makes sense. I could definitely see that, especially being a long-term fan of Dave Chappelle and looking at all the crazy shit that he does and adjacent shit, so yeah, that makes sense.
Anything entertainer has to entertain at the end of the day, but obviously when you get to a certain level, you see how the world works. That's probably why Kanye is probably why he's going on like his tantrums, because he's probably like, I know everything. Like literally, I know everything. I see Donald Trump. Like, who else do I need to know?
Facts.
He's probably thinking, who else do I need to know? Like, I know how everything works. So when you're at that level and you have that perspective, maybe that's why they come up with all these thoughts that maybe we don't understand. Maybe Kanye really is a genius and everything he's saying is the truth, and he has so much time to figure out all this stuff while we're sitting here trying to make money and live life. We don't have time to pay attention to what he's paying attention to. Maybe he is seeing things the way that they really are, and maybe just is not the best at communicating those ideas. Or maybe he's crazy. I don't know. Like,
I feel like Kanye is a Ferrari engine in a Honda car. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so much so fast, and the regular person can't necessarily digest it. And because he's going so fast with everything, like, and you can't keep up, we're gonna be paused and confused at certain things. Not to say that he's right either with everything that he says, but I agree with a lot of what he's doing. And one thing that he said that I rock with is when he said, like, I'm a martyr for the truth, you know, at the end of the day. And it's just like, at least you doubling down on what you believe in at the end of the day. Even if I don't agree with you, like, if you standing by it, you're not about to recant on some like, oh, this company told me I can't say this, so I'm like, all right, that's respect. Like, you're willing to take it even to where you put yourself at risk. That's G to me. That's G.
But you do have to think about how much money he has and wonder if that has any impact on the things he would say, though. Like, if he had $2 million to his name, would he? And he just got these sponsored deals with Adidas, would he still make the same statements? Or is it because he's so comfortable with money that now he's like, okay, now I really get to talk my shit, and you can't do anything about it because I'm rich? How do you think, like, Mark Zuckerberg or whatever? Like, I know he just lost like $60 freaking billion or something like that. Do you think they sit there and go like, damn, I lost 60 bill, or do you think they go like, I still got 40 bill? Like,
yeah, I don't know. I don't think money's a concept to them, because even learning about like how like the billionaires, how it's not like they can go to the bank and take out $1 billion, like, you know, necessarily, or like their billions, their net worth is like distributed. I feel like Ye been on his shit talking crazy since like he came up, and I think Genius proved that too. I've been on Ye since 03, 04. But, like, yeah, I do feel to a certain degree these people that you do have to act your wage. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't really talk your shit like that until you can afford to. Like, I got a lot of things that I want to say and do when I get to a certain spot, but I know if I speak up too much too soon, like, I already feel like I got in trouble with TikTok in 2020. Like, they was coming for me. I had, I remember it was a petition that had like 980 signatures. I made one video, it jumped to like over 5,000. And I'm like, oh shit, okay, I got a voice on this bitch. Like, okay. And I started seeing some games, you know, after that and ever since, you know. So I'm like, okay, let me act my wage. Let me, you know, figure out how I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say, be strategic because of the toxic world we live in.
I'm the same way, bro. There was points where I didn't realize I had a voice at all, especially in the Detroit community. I didn't know I had a voice at one point. I was just like saying what happened. I was like, this is what happened. This is what's going on. This is really going on in the industry.
Yeah.
And then I would get like 100 death threats. Like, I'm like, oh, wait a minute. If I say something that actually matters, I didn't know that, bro. I thought I was just chilling. Like,
you got death threats before too?
Oh man, I got people like, if you don't take that down, if you don't do this, if you don't do that, I'm like, oh my goodness. So then I started realizing like, okay, you know what? I got to be respectful of how I say stuff, because I'm hurting pockets when I say certain stuff.
That's the
when I
big
talk
thing.
about the rap industry in Detroit, or the Detroit culture, the community and stuff like that, when I say certain ways that people are getting manipulated and tricked and getting money taken away from them in certain ways, the people that are taking that money away get very upset with you. Like, you can't go around saying that. We know how it works. They don't.
Exactly.
So I'm sitting there like, oh, I got to keep my mouth shut with certain stuff, because I'm not in a position yet where I can make sure nothing happens to anybody I love or myself.
Yeah, and that's where I'm at with it. And I don't give a fuck if they take this and do whatever they do with it. You know, y'all should be tuning into this. But I'm the type where it's like, I'm going to wait till I get to the point of positioning to where I'm going to talk my shit, I'm going to expose you, and then I'm going to do what you should have did, and you can't do nothing about it. You know, that's what I want to be in the position to do. So, you know, I don't know when I'm going to get there, but I'm building up, and things are going good so far. So, you know.
Talk about you have all these streams, you have all this going on. Talk about how it is monetarily. Like, can you live as an artist with just the income from being an artist, or do you have to still work, or how does that work with you?
I have creative ways, like legal ways. I know creative, that sound like, you know, I'm an entrepreneur, you know what I'm saying? But like, I'm involved in like nonprofits. You know, I've made my own programs regarding music or whatnot that pay. But music on itself is not enough to live comfortably. But if I combine music with that and also like my management, they manage me as an artist, but they manage a gang of influencers as well. And so I get to be in the influencer bag as well. So I've been able to do some cool stuff. Like I worked with SiriusXM. I wrote some jingles for YouTube Shorts and Coachella.
Talk about those jingles a little bit, man. How does that come about?
Yeah, so like I started when that Windows that 2K21 thing crashed, I was like, damn, I gotta learn how to make my own beats. So I was waking up every day in the morning, grassroots, learning how to use, sample stuff on Splice, learning how to put it into my DAW and everything. I'm like, what the hell is this? Like I learn another language. But, after some months, my management was just like, how would you feel if you, would pitch some stuff to some jingles? I'm like, all right, let's give it a try. So I started making stuff with different companies in mind, like Sprite, Puma, like Pantene, Head and Shoulders,
Wow, man.
And so like they was just pitching them. And eventually we got some hear back from a couple of them, and then YouTube reached out by themselves, was just like, we want JayPitts. I'm like, stop playing. When they told me, I'm like, stop playing. And it was a nice bag, too. They said, just make us a song as we bring back Coachella for all of our influencers to use. And then SiriusXM wanted me to just make a beat and then talk about their stuff, like, and put a video about it. And, I'm like, yo, this is a bag right here. So, like, even if the streams is taking a while to bubble up or my followers taking a while to bubble up, I can be on the low ski and just make this money because, if they were to pay an artist on a label to do it, then they'd have to pay like 30, 40K. I can do it for like half of that.
Yeah.
And they'll be happy. I didn't realize how happy they would be to pay somebody to do this type of stuff. So I'm like, well, damn, if I do 20 jingles in a year, we living nice. And I don't care how my number's sitting as far as what the perception is, because I get to live my real life, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always tell people that, man, once you feel, even when you, well, let's say when you're coming up, you're thinking about fame versus money and fame and money. Once you start tasting a little bit of fame, you really realize, damn, I just want money. Because it's like there's so much that comes with fame. There's so much that comes with popularity that is just not of interest. Like, just for instance, people's intentions with you changes. Even the people that you care about you's intentions changes with you. So you're just like, so wait, I'm going to have a bunch of fake people around me that don't really give a damn about who I am as a person. I'd rather have the money.
Bruh.
So if you can chill, I'm personally the type of person I'd rather, like, just like what you're saying, make money behind the scenes, not have the biggest crowd in the world, but be making just as much money as other people doing it with the fame side of it too.
That's it. And I just let people know, all my ops have my phone number. so that's just how it is. Like, soon as things start to get a little bit different, people start to, like, you just see the cap. I'm like, damn, like, you literally still could have rocked with me in the same way before all of this happened, and now you trying to gas me, and I'm like, you moving weird. And so, I wouldn't consider myself having any like fame per se. It was cool when I went to VidCon this year. There were some people that knew who I was from TikTok and was like, you're JayPitts. I'm like, I maybe like 4 or 5 times I experienced that in Detroit. If I'm in the schools with the kids, they know I'm on TikTok. But outside of that, Detroit, you know what I'm saying? We booed Dave Chappelle. I ain't about to get no love. So, but I would trade any amount of fame for the money because I want to stay out the way. I want to be hidden, and I want to come out, be appreciated for what I do, where I'm at, and then get the fuck out the way.
Talk about, I know you said earlier you worked at a mental facility and stuff like that. I've had friends who've checked in and out of those things, man. Do you find benefit in them?
It depends on which one you go to. Like, if you're really about to like be on some like suicide type stuff, you definitely should, go to one because there's some good people there. I had some good staff and coworkers. I was called the patient whisperer because anytime there was a patient that was about to wild out and act violent, I could always talk them out of it. I never really had to get into any physical altercations, even though there were a lot of them. I've been folded and I had to fold, but it's a benefit when we're running our groups. We're talking about different things. I just get real practical with people because people are people, man. It's like I could be you, and you could be me. And as long as people feel like they're being heard, then that's sometimes all you need is to be seen and acknowledged, to feel like life is worth living.
Are most of the people that you were seeing in the facility from Detroit or from different demographics, or what was it? What was like the population like?
Detroit in the metro area, so Detroit, Warren, Sometimes from the east, like Chesterfield.
Did you ever get like a sense of like maybe why a majority of the people are in there?
Yeah. Drugs, poverty, deciding to come to the mental institution instead of get arrested and go through the legal system. So those are those reasons. A lot of the times, if a girl is prostituting, you know, or you're just young, and then rarely it's just people that have like mental health disorders they were born into, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah. It's like there's no obviously, you know, one size fits all or anything like that. There's a bunch of different reasons why people could end up there. Yeah, it's just interesting for people to know about because I always feel like there's a stigma with people who get out of there. And it's like, I know people who've done there and they're normal people. They just went through a really bad time.
Right. Very normal. It could happen to anybody. Like, it's so funny. Like, I remember this person that that came in because they were suicidal. And that was like the worst, lowest moment in their life. But then they got in and realized like what they considered the basement was some people's penthouse. They're like, damn, I thought I had it bad. This person failed at killing themselves and they're mad. This person, you know, is not in their right mind. This person took one hit of this weed that had some K2 in it and now has a disorder where a voice in their head tells them how many times they got to touch each person's face when they walk by. True story for real.
Wow.
Some wild stuff. It took him a year and 7 months to get his brain back normal, college kid. You know, every night he would like come to his senses and then cry himself to sleep on some like, I'm not like controlling my body. But like, you know, but that person became, it's a humbling experience. You can become very grateful for where you're at in life and really get a good perspective. Like the people at the bottom are some of the most humble and just open, caring people you could ever meet, you know?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Sometimes you really do got to look at the people who somehow have nothing, not even if it's like not even a financial type situation or what they've accumulated materialistically, but just who they are as a person. Like sometimes it's the people who have nothing.
Yeah.
Like people just chilling, walking the streets sometimes. One time I remember I was playing because I play the drums and I remember one time I was playing the drums, man, and I was live with my band and I'm playing. I'm just playing. I'm not playing. I'm just playing. Like I wasn't confident with myself as a drummer yet. I knew what I wanted to play, but I didn't feel confident doing it. I felt structured when I was playing. And I remember this guy outside, man, and I'm pretty sure he was homeless or something like that. And he looked at me, he's like, and he just did that, and I felt his energy through the window. Son, I changed the whole dynamic of the song. I started hitting the hi-hat on the 16s. I'm going crazy. I'm just looking at his eyes for that second. I got to talk to him after, and he had like nothing. He had nothing.
Crazy.
But you could have been, somebody across me, a drummer could have came up and talked to me. I wouldn't have listened to you for some reason. But that dude, I just sensed it. I just sensed like he's just pure rooted.
It's organic.
Yeah.
It's so funny you say that. It was one of my former patients that saw me on like the internet and then subscribed to my mailing list and then literally sent me an email that I read the day before yesterday. And they're in the music. And they were just talking about how much, it was like 7 years ago when I had interacted with them and they found me and reached out. And I remember who they were too. And I'm like, damn, like it's crazy how just being a real ass person and just, you know, not thinking you know everything and just being cool to people can have an impact. Because it's like, damn, all these years later, this guy's doing music now. He's saying it's because of me. Like, what the hell? You know, it's crazy,
so
humbling.
Legendary, right? Yeah. I know you got a tape. Can you talk about that? Or is it considered an album?
Yeah, I consider it my debut album. I put out full-length projects, but this is what I would call an album for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, so I dropped an album called Minimum Wage, and it's really like 4 years in the making.
Damn.
But it had to be perfect. Like I had like 2 songs on it, but then it's just formalized, and I knew this project had to be something I did. But it's called Minimum Wage because it's such a Detroit concept. But it's like when you accept the payment that a job gives you, but you know you're worth way more than that, you know, and just the struggle of having to make do with that, but also how that's enough if you use what you have to take you to where you need to go, you know. So I got like a gold grill on the cover and everything, and it's supposed to be like poking fun at rap because everybody thinks like when you make it as a rapper, you're supposed to get all the gold grills and aesthetics and shit. But that's a $12 grill from Amazon, you know. But people can't tell the difference. So, you know, like I said, for me, I'm an artist where it's like the way up is down. You know, I'm gonna do the exact opposite of what you think and still make it poppin'. I'm gonna expose myself and talk about how broke I was, but you look at all the cool shit that I was able to do, and how it's not about the money, it's about you as a person, you know. So I don't run away from the lows. I just talk about it poetically, and man, it's such a good piece of work, very cohesive, and it's just I have production on there as well, and shout out to my homie Ben for making it come alive. But I'm very proud of that project. Very proud of that project.
Listen, man, I'm very excited to see what you accomplish in the future too, man. Like, you know, somebody who you know, comes on this couch and is just open, free speaking, and you know, some of these thought-provoking ideas that you have and ways of looking at things kind of changes my perspective. And this is my favorite type of person to have on the show, honestly. My favorite type of person is where it's back and forth and that we both exchange ideas and we can come to an agreement, or we can both see two sides of it.
Right.
I think a lot of people when they come on podcasts and interviews and stuff like that, they just focus on themselves so much that it dehumanizes it. It's almost like an exchange type thing where instead this is an open talk and an open conversation. You should start doing more podcasts. What I was basically trying to say.
Facts. Definitely. That's been my biggest goal and focus now. It's like I'm gonna get on podcasts. I want to talk because that's once I talk to people, they're hooked in. It's just about getting people. You know what I'm saying?
For sure, man. JayPitts, I really appreciate you being a part of this, man. Everybody go check out the album.
Make sure y'all do that.
Yes, sir. As soon as possible. We're at Parallel Sound Studio, High Low Visuals, shooting these productions. We're out. Peace.